Hello everyone, George Packard, Family Lawn and Landscape. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the top 5 customers that I can't stand. First and foremost on my list are the tire kickers. Everybody knows what the tire kickers are. Those people that are out there trying to find the best price. They will call 16 different companies and have them come out and fight over their work just so that they can get the lowest price on it. During this video, I don't want to just tell you what I hate about them. I want to tell you what I do to solve problems too. I don't want to just vent about it, okay? So, first off, the tire kickers. Everybody deals with them. There's nothing you can do about it. There is absolutely nothing you can do about it other than the telltale signs of the tire kickers, you know, especially when they tell you that they're getting multiple bids or they're getting other bids. That's an automatic, you know it's a tire kicker. Okay? Or when you hear the people say, yeah, I really have no idea what it's going to cost, but I thought I would just call around and find out. Well, call around means they're calling several, not just one, they're calling many. Okay? So keep that in mind if you go to bid these properties. And I'm going to tell you guys, one of the things that I do, Stan Granatic, another guy, what he does is the same thing I do, is I charge him to come out and do estimates. If they're close by, it's not a big deal for me to run there. If it's 10, 15 minutes away, not a big deal. But if it's an hour's drive or 45-minute drive, I just did this again the other day. A lady called up, wanted an estimate for tilling up her garden, and she had some perennials she wanted removed, and she wanted me to just till all those in. And she told me that she was come right out and said she was getting other quotes. So I said to her, because I know I'm not going to be the cheapest guy out there. I know there's cheaper landscapers out there that'll come in and do it for half of what I do it for, okay? Because they're lowballers. That's just what they are, you know? And I know that. So what I do, I decided to save myself time because she's 45 minutes away. I'll save myself an hour and a half just in travel time, not to mention the hour that I would sit there and listen to her babble on, I'm sure, about stuff that knowing I'm not going to get the job anyway. So I told her I wanted $100 down to come out and do the estimate, and I'd provide her with a written estimate, just like Stan does too. And I'm going to leave it at that, and if you decide to hire us, we'll put that $100 towards your estimate. Well, next thing you hear is, oh, well, I'll get back to you. Which is perfect for me because that's exactly what I want. I don't want to waste my time anymore. I wasn't rude to her. I told her I was going to charge for the estimate, and I even explained why. I tell her that I'm going to be coming out there. It's going to be an hour and a half of my time, plus a half an hour with you. That's 2 hours out of my day that basically I don't get paid for. And I'm not in the habit of giving away things for free. So I eliminated tire kickers. On the other hand, if you have a customer that doesn't give you any of those signs, and they're just like, especially if they tell you, hey, we can't seem to get a landscaper out here, bingo. You're Johnny on the spot. You're going to go get that job. Okay. Just because they can't get a landscaper out there. Anyway, all right, let's move on. So number 2, penny pinchers. Penny pinchers. These people are very similar to tire kickers, but you get the job and you get out there, and one of the things that they do to me that drives me crazy, and I've learned this, if I bid a job, say for $1,000, for example, and I come out there, and back when I used to smoke, I would, you know, during a day's time, I would probably stop, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, maybe 10 times for a cigarette. And then I would have people come out there and seem like they were getting on you because they weren't getting their money's worth, you know, especially if you charge by the hour. That's something you don't want to do. If you're charging by the hour, the penny pinchers are watching you. The clock is running. Believe me, you don't want to stop. You barely want to stop and get a drink of water, okay? So the penny pinchers drive you crazy because they feel like they're paying you these big astronomical amounts of money per hour, and by God, you need to have sweat pouring out in the crack of your ass or you're just not earning your keep, you know? Those are the people that drive me up the wall. So what do I do basically on the penny pinchers? When I come in there, I know if I bid that job by the hour and so much an hour per man, that's the way it was bid to her. I tell my guys straight up, guys, if you're going to be taking a break, it's going to be back at that truck. It's going to be, a quick 5-minute smoke. Get your water, boom, boom, and you're back on the job. I prepare them for this because I know what's coming, okay? So you guys should probably do the same thing. That'll save you a little bit of grief, okay? All right, the snobs, number 3. Snobs and arrogant people. Those people piss me off. I have Throughout my 19 years experience, I have met many arrogant people, snobs, arrogant people. And what I do with them, first off, I can't stand them because they think they're better than you, and you're just a piece of shit just because you're the lawn guy or you're the landscape guy. Well, I got news for those guys. Early on, I allowed myself to be treated like that. I don't do that anymore. If I come in and he's got an attitude and that nose is shoved up in the air towards me, my nose goes up twice as high. My voice goes up higher. I'm so matter-of-factly to him because I'm letting him know I'm not going to get tread on by you. I'm not some little piece of shit you can kick to the curb, buddy. Let me tell you. So, anyway, I'm not even sure if I answered that thing correctly. Early on, you got to deal with these people because that's just the way they are. As you get older, you realize, screw these people. I don't need this, and I don't need to take that crap from him. I think any of you guys out there that work hard in this lawn care industry or the landscape industry, don't take shit from any of these guys. They're bums. Yeah, you got to kiss some ass. You do. I don't care who you are. You got to kiss ass. You're a salesman. You have to do your best pitch. You have to, did I just say do's your best pitch? I think I did. Wow, got to get some sleep one of these nights. Anyway, you got to give it your best pitch to get the job, okay? If you got to kiss some ass to do it, especially early on, you're going to have to do it. But as time goes on, you'll learn you don't have to do that, okay? Which is a very invigorating feeling when you get to that point because you're in control and not him. So if you do have to deal with these guys, I've had one guy where I flat out told him, I said, you know what, and this is back when I was younger, I just got so much belittling that I just said to him, I said, you know what, I'd love to see you grab a shovel right now and just show me how that's done. Because if I hear much more of your shit, I'm going to walk off this frickin' job. I'm not even going to listen to you anymore. Okay, I put him in his place, and you know what? I got that job anyway. Okay, he just had to be put in his place. So, whatever. Not saying you to do that all the time, obviously, guys, because especially starting out, you're young into it, you can't afford to do that. You got to kiss their ass. So, all right, the non-payers, huge problem with those guys. One thing that we did, so the non-payers are, of course, are the guys that we get half down for initially when I first started out. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have been there. You have, and I want to hear your stories, by the way. So you go to this job and you tell them it's a $5,000 landscape project. And they're like, okay, sure, no problem. We'll pay you when you're all done. And you're like, well, can I get half down? And they're like, I'm not paying you half down. That's ridiculous. I'll pay you the whole thing when you're done. And you're like, oh, gee, okay, because, you're young and naive and dumb would be a better word for it. You fall for that crap. So then you do the job, and all of a sudden it gets time to get paid, and you can't get paid because he found a million things wrong with the work you did. That sound familiar? Leave me your stories on that, guys. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear you share them with everybody. That'd be awesome. So I've got a million of those. One of these days I'm just going to go through all my war stories with you guys and how many times I've been screwed. That's a good idea for a video. I think I'll work on that. So anyway, to handle the non-payers. Lawn care, everybody's prepay now unless they're commercial. If they're commercial, you'll never get them to prepay, ever. So, all the residentials are prepay, no questions asked. That solves that. Landscaping, half down, the other half when we complete the job. Now, if it's a big job, I will tell them it's going to be, if I'm in anything past $10,000, it's half down, a quarter when I show up, and the other quarter when I'm done. Especially if they're shady people. If they're shady, if they're from another town, they're from the big cities, and they're coming here by me, and I know I have no chance in hell of collecting my money if he decides to screw me, it'll be half down, a quarter when I show up on the property, and the other quarter when I'm done. So at the very least, I still make money on it, okay? So keep that in mind. The customer that you can't please, hence the problem, you can't please him. There's a lot of these guys out there that no matter what you do, you can't please them. So one of my biggest concerns is meddling. Well, I should get into this one after, which I will. All right, the people that you can't please. You have to learn after a while that you just can't please them. You just can't please them. After you've done it and you've bent over backwards, don't waste the entire year on this person. If you're mowing their lawn and every time you go there, the first 2-3 times they find something wrong with it, hopefully you can shape it in, clean up the crew, make them do it the way she wants it done. If after a month you can't do that, you need to get out. You need to go down the road and move on. Okay? So, just a point I wanted to bring up about that. There's your problem, there's your solution. Now, let's go with meddling children. This is a big problem for me, especially down in Florida. You have a lot of these elderly people that live down there, okay? Their children live in California or Texas or somewhere else, so they're not even there, okay? But they feel because their parents are older that everyone's taking advantage of them. This drives me up a frickin' wall. Absolutely drives me up a wall. And your problem is them meddling, okay? I remember one guy came here from California and told me that we weren't trimming far enough underneath this deck. She had a big deck that came out around her house, and we weren't trimming underneath it far enough. We were in as far as our long neck straight shaft trimmers would go, but it wasn't far enough for him because he could stand back on the road and see weeds that are in there 3-4 feet, okay? What a jerk off, all right? That's all this guy was. He's a meddling child. That's what he is. So you'll realize, especially the older the parents get, when they're not as cognitive as they'd like for them to be, you'll find the kids meddle way more. I remember one landscape job I went to, I had to meet with 3 different kids. It was only a $3,500 landscape job. I had to meet with 3 different kids on 3 different occasions and still never got the job. That shit's annoying as hell. But anyway, those are my concerns, my problems with customers I can't stand, and those are some solutions on how you can deal with them. This has been George Packard, Family Lawn and Landscape. Excuse me. Don't forget to check out the rest of our videos, which we archive on our websites, and those links are down below. Thanks for watching.